Hey guys, Joe here. Well, one of the things that I posted, plans for the future, what I would like to do, what knife you guys like me to bring on my trek. Got a couple of PMs, and one, comment was like, kind of make something like a puku, stack-handled knife, and you know what? Been leaning towards that the whole time. So I'm going to show you how I make a knife. It's basically going to show how anyone can do it. This is going to be down and dirty, quick and simple, easy peasy. So some of you are probably not going to like it. You're going to say, oh, I'm doing it wrong. Well, my belief is if it works, it ain't wrong. So with that said, let me show you my little forging setup here, all right? Okay, well, here's my forge setup. Blower. You don't really need that if you're going to be starting out here. In fact, I'll put a link at the bottom of how I did my blacksmithing forging using a campfire and a trash bag. I've always loved doing that. But here's my forge. This is known as the Tim Lively forge setup. Basically, it's just a wash basin filled with clay and wood ash and percolite. And I've had this for 6-7 years now. I may have to redo this in the near future, but it's lasted me a long time and made a couple of knives. I'm going to make my fire with the bow drill. It's my belief that hand forged knives seem to have like a life of their own, and I like to make some of my knives with living fire. So here's my anvil. I am happy to have gotten. As you can see, it hasn't been used in a bit. We've had some storms and a lot of carbon content here. So these pair of tongs I've had over 20 years. In-laws were cleaning out a shed and found them and mailed them to me when my wife and I were first married. So, nice wedding gift. Anyways, I'm going to show you the piece of steel I'm going to be using. Let's see here. It's here you go. It's a piece of truck coil spring. Here's your run-of-the-mill one. You can see it's thinner. I'm looking kind of for a little wider, beefier puku knife. I'm going to be putting that little bugger to the works here. But in addition, if you don't have that, you can always use a piece of leaf spring. You notice I have a line drawn to the middle. I'm going to show you a neat little trick here that I learned from one of Tim Lively's video blacksmithing, which I'm going to kind of promote his video here as well. So, well, yeah, the wind's picking up. I'm not liking that. So, with that said, let's get the fire going and see how long we can go until this wind shuts me down here. So, and away we go. Alright, well, got your bow drill set up. Well, I'm going to need some tinder here, so good thing for tinder is, well, naval lint. So let me get in. Hold on. There we go. Whew. I don't know what it is about navals, but they seem to love to chew up fibers here. So here we go. Got a nice little bit of fiber. Put it there so it doesn't blow all over the place. Get my little handy dandy coal catcher here. Don't want it to be on the ground. And away we go. Shoelaces getting caught in the bow drill is not an option. coal. Catch my breath here. Let this catch. Let me angle it here. Gotta love getting also over a cold. This has been a bad year for me. Catching colds and such. Jeez. Looks like I'm gonna have to grease this up in the future. As I said before, this is the way I do it. You may do it another way, that's fine. First thing I'm going to do is adjust this visor so I can see what I'm doing here. Okay, there we go. What I'm going to do is straighten this out and hammer one edge fairly flat enough so I could grip it without it, wanting to roll all over the place. In addition, what I'm going to show you, hopefully it'll work, is heat this up, and then I'm going to show you how I hot cut it without going all the way through. So here we go. Hot time in the forge. You know, gotta shove stuff all over the place, making sure it drops on the ground and such. You know, fun stuff. The fun part is trying to find something in the coals. That looks like the coals. Here we go. Got a magnet. It ain't attracting. So, ready. I'm going to put it back in to heat up a little bit more. That wind's a little cold. So, alright. Now let's straighten this little guy out. Alright guys, first off, an apology of a sorts is those of you who are wearing headphones, you might want to take them off or adjust the sound. I like to switch sides, get an even hit. Alright, here we go. It's enough to grab now, so time to hammer up some more. Loud sound. Thought I was joking, huh? Whew. We're getting there. Whew. Whew. This is what I like about when it gets thinner. It picks up the heat a lot more and a lot easier. We're almost getting to the nice blank here, so I'm going to thin this out a little bit more, start a little bit on the tip, and then start working on the tang. Whew! Fun stuff. Okay, for the most part I've got the blank hammered out here. I have a choice of which end to use as the tip and the tang. So what I'm planning on doing is using here for the tip and this part as the tang. I'll be thinning this out area here and of course shaping it for here. I'm going to start with the edge first, the tip first, the main body of the blade, and then working on the tail end. So whew, wind's picking up. It's cutting it close. The winds are going to be picking up real soon, pretty bad. I'm not sure, it could be a minute, hour, hours, but I'm seeing what's called lenticular clouds. Let me show you what they look like here, in case if you've never seen them. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see, but like that cloud right there and right there, those are known as lenticular clouds. That's when the upper atmosphere is very windy. That's usually an indication of a change of weather, storms again. But here's what they look like. Sometimes they actually look like flying saucers. Round, flat clouds, dark, and they're pretty cool looking. So there you have it, lenticular clouds. As you can see, it's starting to take shape. Alright, you're probably, if you haven't asked already or wondering, like, Joe, how long do you know when you're going to stop, when you got it long enough? Let me show you what I did on the anvil here. Alright, I made a mark here to here. Between here and here, from the line to the edge here is 9 inches. So that's what I'm hoping for. If it's slightly under, that's fine. Over, that's fine. I mean, it could be easily trimmed. But as I said, this is going to be down and dirty, easy peasy, that you don't even need to do all this hammering out if you didn't want to do this. It could be easily done. You can order it, blanks, pieces of steel, how wide you want, how thick you want it, and how long. They get up to 24 inches. I've seen them up, 12 inches. You could trim it with the Dremel tool or angle grinder. So, yeah, this is basically, I'm going to just show you down and dirty, and that where you easily, pretty much anybody could do it with just practice and a little know-how. So, all right, let's continue. I'm going to move on and show you the tip and work on the tang. So, oh man. Okay, now got the tip here. I need to work this area out here a bit more, but it's coming along nicely. Let's see here. Here it is, and here's the mark. About 1.5 inches, 2 inches to go. So it ain't going to be that hard, really. Just draw it out a bit more, and then once I get it to the right length I want, use the Dremel tool, or could use the angle grinder. So as I said, this is going to be down and dirty, and there we go. There we go. Let's see here. Oh, I do have to thin this part out here. This out here a bit more, make it even out. And I believe it will be, if not a little bit short of the mark. That's perfectly fine, as I said. And you're probably saying, Joe, where's the tang? Well, quite simple. I told you I'm going to do this the simple way. Some would call it cheating, some would call it the lazy man's way. Either way, it's going to work, and that's all that matters. So, whew, in almost there. Home stretch. I think this is... Ooh, I apologize for the ringing. I think that's bad. Way, how about on my end? Boy. Bam! Right to the, right there, right to the line. Ha ha! Whew! Here we have it. She ain't much to look at right now, but she's going to go through a little transition. How long am I going to make the blade? Kind of a tribute to Morris Kransky. He says usually 4 fingers length, but I'm sure his hands are a little bit bigger than mine, so I'm probably going to go for like a hand's width to right about here, which is about 4.5 inches of gripping. And probably when it's all said and done, I'm going to add a piece of birch for the butt, and well, we'll go from there. Okay, now to anneal this. I'm just going to set it in and put it in coals, cover it with ash and other charcoal, and let it sit until it completely cools. It could be anywhere from a couple hours to 24 to 48 hours. I've had one blade that took 3 days to completely cool down. But I tell you what, when it was cooled down, it was so annealed that I actually take a file and just shape it without using anything. So, of course, this is a very touchy part right here, as if you don't pay attention, you could end up scorching the blade or melting it. Because as thin as it is, you have to get out of your mind that you're not working on a thick piece now. You're working on a thin piece, and if it catches too much heat, it's going to melt on you or scorch, and then you have to start all over. Not fun. I'm watching it, make sure there's doesn't get too hot. When it starts getting real hard, it'll start actually producing plasma. You start seeing it like kind of a rolling flame across the top here. What I'm trying to do is keep the tip out, because that's the thinnest part right there, and I do not want to scorch it. I've done that way too many times. In fact, here's one of my sad attempts. I didn't pay attention, and as you can see, yeah, I really scorched it good. That's why you need to pay attention. Don't mind me, I'm just throwing a little bit of sage wood on it. And yeah, when you're doing this, feel free to poke around in the coals and take a look at it. You know, keep an eye on it. I don't recommend this to a beginner because you never know when you might cook yourself. Learn quickly. I don't know if you can see right here, we've got some plasma, and everything's fine. Get a few more turns. There we go. Being annealed right now, and we'll come back when it's finally cooled off, and I'll show you how quick and easy, down and dirty, easy peasy way of shaping things out. So, you know, all you need is pretty much like a Dremel tool, an angle grind or an angle grinder, and a 1x30 sander. So, catch you when this cools down. And meanwhile, since the wind's been picking up, gonna cover it with a lid here, and that way it'll keep the wind off from sucking more heat off, and if there's any rain or snow, it'll shield it. That, it'll help reflect the heat back in, so it'll cook a little bit longer. I mean, it's just my belief that the longer the blade takes to cool, the softer it is, and haven't been wrong yet. So, more to come. Well, I finished this up just in time. Holy moly. That wind just came up out of nowhere. Whew. So, wow, that wind is cold. Yeah, that's why I covered it. That's why I wanted to get done at those lenticular clouds. Yeah, so, show that the wind was coming. So. Well, part 2 may be delayed a bit, but that's okay, as long as it's annealed. So, woo-wee. Ready for part 2.